So, tēnā koutou katoa ngā mihi nui kia koutou. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for being here today, and especially the team at Hector for being here and creating this amazing company and for hosting us today as an example of the success of the Active Investor Plus program. I wanted to bring you all here to a successful company that has tapped into the Active Investor Plus program to help develop their company, to help their exports and to grow their company. And the reason that we're here showcasing this amazing company and the growth that they've had and the incredible technology and Kiwi ingenuity on display is because we've reached a really important milestone in the Active Investor Plus program. Today marks the $3 billion mark. We have applications that total over $3 billion now, but importantly of that, $1 billion has been actually invested into New Zealand, with another just over $2 billion that will be invested in the next 6 months. And that is truly phenomenal when you think about the fact that I was standing here in front of most of the journalists that are here today earlier this year, and we opened the program in April. And we've already hit that mark. And I remember standing in front of the media saying, well, I hope that we might get 200 investors in our first year, and we're well over 500 representing this $3 billion mark. It is a truly successful story, and the numbers tell a very clear story that the refreshed Active Investor Plus program is working, that we are attracting the most incredible investors who are dedicated to New Zealand, they're passionate about our businesses, they're helping take us to the next level. But the key message here today is what this does to benefit New Zealand. And as you heard today, companies like Hector are employing more people. They are creating more highly skilled, high-paid jobs here in New Zealand. The Active Investor Plus program over the last couple of years had dwindled down to about $70 million worth of investment, and we weren't creating the jobs that we needed. It wasn't reaching the milestones it needed to. But with a few really smart tweaks here today, we're able to say that we've got that $3 billion worth of committed investment. But looking to the future is what I want to talk about today, is what is the potential of this program. It's not just the money that's coming in, it's the jobs that are being created, but it's the people who are investing in these companies. Half of the investors are American. I've met with many of them. They are dedicated to New Zealand, they're passionate about our businesses, and the contacts that they have around the world and the ability they have to help take businesses like Hector to the next level is extraordinary, and we've not had that before. The success of this program really has been in that growth part of the AIP program. We've got balanced and growth. We always wanted to make sure that we were edging people into the growth category, which is exactly where the money is going, about 80% of it into businesses like this, into venture capital, into private equity, into private credit and managed funds. And that is where we are seeing the success of the AIP program. We are creating more high-value jobs. Companies like Hector are able to expand into new markets, and they're able to develop high-class, world-leading technologies that, as you heard today, are truly world-leading and cutting-edge. As you saw, Hector were founded in 2017, and they've had 3 investors. And this round of investment is going to, as you heard earlier, mean that they are going to be hiring more people, highly skilled jobs to create technology that doesn't exist anywhere in the world. They're already in 22 countries around the world exporting, and this new product no doubt will go into those markets and hopefully many more markets. And I'm excited to see what the future of this company is past this next technological advancement that they're planning on. And I know that it is extraordinarily difficult from what I've just heard, the technology that they're creating, but I have no doubt they'll be very successful. We have a unique opportunity in New Zealand when it comes to attracting investors. We have a stable democracy. We have a wonderful environment. We have natural resources that are plenty. And we have amazing Kiwis and talent that we want to keep here and attract back to New Zealand. And it's investment like this that grows companies like these, that grows jobs in New Zealand, that creates the future that we want. And the AIP program really is building the future in this country that we want. And that's what is so exciting about today. Not only the $3 billion investment, but actually being here at a company to see what it means on the ground. So with that, I'm very, very happy to answer all of your questions.
How much of this is the Trump effect? You mentioned the benefits investing in New Zealand. The first point you made was stable democracy, and 50% of the investors are American. So how much of this is high net worth individuals looking to move their money out of America and into a different market?
Look, there's no doubt that the world is a far more unstable place than it was, and this is a very good time for New Zealand to be opening our doors to the world and saying we are an attractive country because we are perfectly placed at the bottom of the world. We are well connected. We've got amazing, talented people. We are safe. And we provide a lifestyle that you can't get anywhere else. So what we're offering you in return for your investment and your knowledge is pretty incredible. And yes, we are seeing a number of people from America. We're also seeing a lot of Germans. We're seeing quite a bit of interest from Southeast Asia and China. But no doubt, we are seen as a very stable place in a tumultuous world at the moment.
And in light of that, given that there is a lot of money searching for a more stable home, will you be looking to tweak the settings at all to maybe lower them so that we can really capitalise on the opportunity that's presented at the moment?
We always said that we would do a check-in about the 18-month mark. I've brought that forward to the 12-month mark, and we are constantly looking at where the money is flowing to. Is it going to where we need it to go? Is it productive? We're keeping a very, very close eye on it. And what we are seeing is that it's maturing over time. And I'm very nervous to make holus bolus changes because we're actually seeing it mature and balance out now, and we're seeing the market work for itself. We are considering making a number of tweaks and changes. We already made some around infrastructure investment, and that means we've seen three new funds being approved by Invest New Zealand, and the funds that they can soak up equal $1.2 billion, and one of those companies is building social housing and university accommodation, which is exactly what we need.
Sorry, so are you looking at lowering the capital requirements?
Not the capital requirements, no. We have enough investors coming in, and it's not slowing down. And when we introduced the ability to be able to buy a house, we haven't seen massive peaks since that's happened, but we have seen it continue to be stable. So we're not seeing a drop-off, it's continuing to be stable. I don't think at this point in time we would look at reducing the requirement, but what we might look at doing is just tweaking some of what the acceptable investments to make sure that there is enough investments. Our problem is not the money coming in. Our wonderful challenge is where does it go, and how do we make sure it's productive? How do we make sure it's growing great jobs for Kiwis?
And on the houses, do you know how many owners have bought a home?
Look, I don't have that. In fact, I won't have that because it hasn't quite happened yet. It's still going through the legislative process, so we should be happening anytime soon.
Do you have any data on how much time on average the investors are spending in New Zealand?
Well, they'll be, I can have a look into that for you. I know that obviously the minimum they have to spend if they're in growth is a week a year. Some of them will be spending a lot more time than that. We know that because I meet with them all the time, either before they've gone through the process or once they're already out the other end. I'm spending as much time with them as I can to learn about can we improve the service that we offer you, and they have fallen in love with this country. And a lot of them who were saying to me, well, we were just going to wait before we moved, are saying to me, actually, now we're looking to move now.
Today, the Stats NZ, slightly adjacent to this, released that the net migration gap is the lowest it's been since 2013. How concerning is that for you?
It's not concerning at all. In fact, it's stabilised, and you will remember the commentators saying we're going to be in the net negative. I never thought that would be the case, but it has stabilised over the last few months. It's remained much the same, and we're just starting to see a slight uptick. So I'm confident as the economy improves that our net migration figures will get back to what their sort of 20-year average. it's been really important for us because you remember when I became the minister, net migration was 135,000 and it was predominantly low-skilled workers because Immigration New Zealand, under instruction from the previous government, had shut their eyes and weren't properly verifying people coming in the country, hence migrant exploitation. We have massively tightened that up. We've said if you're a lower skilled worker, you need to have a minimum requirement of your skills and experience. You need to be able to speak English. We've restricted the ability to bring partners and children for lower skilled workers. So what we're seeing now is a complete swing. Most of the people coming in, between 70 and 80%, are high skilled people that this country needs and will benefit from. So we've hugely tightened up. But predominantly, it is driven by the economy. And as the economy moves into a growth phase, which we're doing this year, you will see those numbers pick up.
Minister, just to clarify, the period that you're comparing with, in terms of investor stats, the number of applications received, it includes the COVID pandemic period, right? So is it a fair comparison to make?
No, it was post-COVID. Those numbers. I mean, during COVID, they still had the old Investor 1 and 2, so it came in just after that. Look, the settings weren't right, and we know that from investors because I speak to them all the time, and requiring them and forcing them to be in New Zealand for a certain period of time when these people are global citizens. I mean, the wealth that they've accumulated over a long period of time by investing in businesses and selling businesses and growing them is huge, and they spend a lot of time all over the world, and forcing them to be in New Zealand for a certain period of time didn't suit their requirements. And so that has been a key driver of this program. But I'm under no illusions that it is a visa at the right time as well because of what's going on in the world.
And also you mentioned that 80% of the money is going into
Growth,
venture capital funds and bonds. Does the government have any oversight as to how much of this money is going into New Zealand businesses? Because I guess a fund can also be looking overseas.
It has to go predominantly into New Zealand businesses. Yeah, there is I can get the figure for you, but there is a percentage requirement that has to be invested into New Zealand. So we'll be very, very careful about that. We track everything every single week, and Invest New Zealand are talking to those managed funds. We know exactly where they're being amazing. They're giving us a lot of data back, saying exactly where it's going. So the private credit we're tracking as well and seeing where that's going.
So what is the percentage requirement? Do you have any ballpark around that for the percentage requirement for investing locally?
I can't remember the it's about 80%, I think. I think it's about 80%. Yes,
so
there we go. I was right.
How does that translate to jobs and productivity for New Zealand? Is there any ballpark figure on, because you talked about the 1 billion that's already invested and the 2 billion that's coming, and I'm guessing that's based on the principal approvals and principles?
Yes.
From that 1 billion, how much, any sort of idea of like how many jobs that's created or projected to create?
We're very early days, so we only opened this visa in April. We do want to track job growth in New Zealand, and we have got built into this visa a number of data collection requirements, and so we will be tracking that over time, but we're still very early days at this stage. But we'll be able to report back to you on not only job creation, but also what's happening with investors who are here in New Zealand who've, after their initial investment, because actually their initial investment is a very small proportion of the lifetime of investment of that investor in New Zealand. You find that they will come here, they'll be philanthropic, they will find other ventures outside of their initial investment, so we're going to be tracking that as well. And that is what we're really after, not so much this, although this sounds amazing, $3 billion in just a few months, but there's a lot more outside of that.
So with the money that they invest, like say for 3 years or 5 years as required under the visa, after they get residency, can they pull out that money?
The period for getting their residence is 3 years. And so depending on where they invest, I mean, some investors are investing in venture capital and private equity, and they'll get their money out over a longer period of time. The actual investment period has to be 3 years. But some of the investments that they're making a lot, they won't see any return be able to withdraw their capital for a much longer period. So it really depends on the investment. If it's private credit or VC or private equity. So they could technically, and that was the same under the old scheme as well. But what we find, and that's why we're doing some information gathering, is that The data that we had available to us showed us that for every dollar they invested, they would then go and invest another $2 to $3 outside of that, outside of the program.
And do you have a breakdown of the sectors of where the money's going?
We do have a really good idea, and I can get you that data. We know in private credit, for example, a lot of it's going into healthcare and into infrastructure and into cloud-based technology and all sorts of really amazing things. So we can get that for you.
And what about tax residency? I saw that Minter Ellison has been advising some of its clients around, especially if you buy a house in New Zealand, that you could then be deemed a tax residency. Is that turning some people off?
We still have some what we call the fifth rules to clear up, which is this international tax obligations. We've done some work in that. We've got about 80% of the way there. There's probably another 20% we still have yet to fix. And Minister Willis and Simon Watts is also across that. So they know exactly what we need to do and they're working on that because we do want to make it easy for people. We don't want them to be forced to stay offshore because they can't afford to be in New Zealand because of tax reasons. So it's really complicated. And we're having to work through that. But we've done quite a bit of the work already.
Right, so we're looking to create a carve-out perhaps for those who...
Well, it's a simplification. And look, it's outside of my ministerial portfolio area of expertise, so I'll get you to talk to them about that. We have to make sure that it's fair on this at the same time as encouraging these people to come and settle here and stay here, because that's when we see those other benefits I talked about of philanthropy and more investment when they're actually here living in a community. Thank you very much.